Alright, first things first. Spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. This is where you click off. If you have not seen Avengers Endgame, spoilers, 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 get off now. So, it has been 24 hours, almost exactly. It's 6:47 right now. And I saw the movie at 7, 24 hours ago. And, Endgame killed me. They did it. Now, I'm gonna first start off with the good, the greatness, and I'll probably like do some sort of video talking about all this later. But the fight scenes were so fucking good. The fight scenes were literally amazing. Honest to God, literally amazing. Just some of the most beautiful fight scenes ever. The ending fight scene with Cap and, you know, all that stuff. I'm not going to put major spoilers in here, so if you're still watching, you're fine. I'll just be low-key about everything. But Cap and all the other Avengers fighting Thanos. Woo! And then, like, they dealt with time travel in this movie and, like, all the little Easter eggs of characters and, you know, little nods to the other movies, and like, so good. Carol got a haircut, it looking fresh. Tony is a silver-haired fox and I love him. And Cap looking good. Woo! That is America's ass right there. That is America's ass right there. Captain America, that's America's ass right there. 100%. And it was so good. Avengers was so good. But with all movies, especially one this big, it has its issues. My first main issue is the timeline stuff. So I am a stickler? Is that the word I'm looking for? I hate time travel movies and stuff like that. Well, I don't hate them. I just hate the idea of time travel. That is like my number one going off topic. Like, don't even talk to me about time travel, because I can honestly write a 50-page paper about time travel. Because, you know, I love the Flash, but he messes with time all the time. And Avengers, they mess with time so much, and they literally talk about it, how, like, Back to the Future is not a thing, and you shouldn't base time off Back to the Future. But honestly, they kind of just, like, did their own thing, even though it was kind of Back to the Future. But they kind of explained it better than other Marvel movies. Or not other Marvel movies, but they've explained it better than other movies in general. That if something happens, the timeline divulges. And so now there's two timelines going, two parallel universes type of thing. One that is the canon timeline you just came from, and then one where your whatever happened in the past is your future now. So a lot of things that happened in this movie, if we're going with actual time, make no goddamn sense at all. Like a lot of the time stuff, like literally a character in this movie kills their past self, yet they survive. So that makes no sense, but they did kind of explain it, how it's like divulging time. Whatever, it's fine. It's whatever. So that a little bit irked me, because I'm a stickler for time. And the next thing I want to talk about is major spoilers, so definitely get out if you haven't already. I want to talk about the deaths in this movie. First, I want to talk about Clintasha and what happened there. So I actually slightly predicted this a little bit. I thought Natasha was going to die in this movie. Mostly because she's always been that character that's, you know, the rogue assassin. Like, she has blood in her ledger. Like, you know, she's said that multiple times now, that she has blood in her ledger. Like, she needs to wipe it clean. She said that in specifically the first Avengers. And I thought, she hasn't really wiped it clean yet. Or at least, like, she has. She's a hero. She saved millions of lives. Like, she has. But to Natasha's point of view, I don't think she feels that way. So I expected her to sacrifice herself. And I expected the Soul Gem, for her to sacrifice herself on the Soul Gem, and for Hulk to be there, because, you know, there was that weird romance that I didn't like, but I thought they were going to continue to play with their romance, which they didn't, which shocked me. But they did Clintasha, and if you watched my other Avengers trailer stuff, you know I'm a big Clintasha shipper. So Clintasha had a lot of moments in this movie, and that ending killed me. Like, them fighting for death. They fought each other to commit suicide. That was hard. That was so hard. And between Natasha and Clint, I would have rather have Natasha die, which sounds weird, but my idea on this is that Hawkeye, you know, has a wife, has kids, has people to go back to, and Natasha, her people to go back to are the Avengers, right? Because she has no family, and, you know, that kind of pushes it to Clint's side for him to live. And Natasha's also, like, human, I guess. She's just, like, she feels to me like the most human character, right? Between Clint and her. Like, she always has this guilt on her. And I'm sure Clint has guilt too, but I feel like Natasha is really, like, feels really guilty about everything she's done and just wants to clean her ledger. And so that would be the perfect way. But man, that forehead touch killed me. And to me, I read that as totally romantic because I'm a Clintasha shipper. But it was probably platonic. But it was still, man, my Clintasha heart was not okay. And them literally fighting to kill themselves. That was sad. And Natasha's last words in the MCU for right now until her prequel movie are, "It's okay." And that hurt. And that really hurt. So, the next thing is Steve. I do want to talk about Steve. I see a lot of people mad with what he did because he left Bucky and he left Sam, but I'm not mad at that. Mostly because I don't really... Winter Soldier's alright. He's not, like, my favorite character. Neither is Sam. But my main issue at the time, he met, you know, going back and... So, he goes back in time, marries Peggy. I don't know, like, does he go back to the immediate moment where he disappeared? Like, does he go all the way back to when he crashed in the frozen tundra or whatever? Or does he, like, wait a few years? I don't know, but he goes back to Peggy, they get married, live old together, whatever. So the first issue is kind of the time stuff, like, how does that work now? Did they have kids together? Did Peggy still die during Civil War? Or is she still alive now? Like, the timeline just is really weird. And, like, in Agent Carter, she says she has a husband, and she has kids, of course. So it's just really weird on a time perspective. But once again, it's the whole Marvel kind of explained it of divulging timelines. Like, there are canon timeline where no time was ever dealt with is there, and then the timeline where time is messed up with, and there's a timeline where Infinity War didn't even happen, which is the timeline I'm living in, because Infinity War shouldn't happen. So there's a lot of time issues, but also I get why a lot of people are mad about the whole Bucky thing and the Sam thing, because it was really weird. Like, I feel like Steve totally told Bucky that he was gonna go back in time and stay there, because they have that hug at the end when him and Sam were just like, oh, you know, hey, cool dude, and Sam was just like, hey, I come with you, and Steve's like, nah, we're good. And then he hugs Bucky and is like, does the whole like, don't do anything stupid, blah 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 blah, and like they like really intimately hugs, right? So it's like, I think Steve and Bucky talked, and Bucky knew what was up, that he was gonna definitely go back in time, but it still felt weird for Steve to be sitting on the bench. Like, one, how long has he been sitting on that bench that nobody noticed, right? And two, he gives the shield to Sam. So Sam is now the new Captain America. But it was weird because they didn't give that last final moment between Bucky and Steve. You know? Like, I honestly think Bucky should have gotten the Cap shield and become Captain America, because Bucky has no moniker right now. Bucky is just, he was the Winter Soldier, and now he's just Bucky and doesn't have anything, while Sam is the Falcon. So I think it would have been better to give Bucky the shield and him become Captain America and kind of prove everybody wrong. Like, between Sam and Bucky has to prove more to people than Sam does. People believe Sam and think he's good and everything, but so many people still believe Bucky is evil and is the Winter Soldier. Even, I feel like Tony, there's a little bit of hesitation from Tony, probably. We don't see that, but it's probably there because, you know, Civil War. So I think it would have been more interesting for character development wise to give it to Bucky, being that him and Steve are best friends, and Bucky has a lot more to prove to people, and having the Captain's blessing would have made a lot more sense. But it kind of sucks that with this probably being the last time we're going to see Captain America, like, he doesn't have his final talk with Bucky, you know? His final talk is with Sam. And I get him and Sam are pretty close, but it's Bucky. Like, yeah, I don't ship Stucky. I don't. But I totally get where people are coming from. Steve and Bucky are literally best friends, and, like, you know, you can't just, like, end Captain America's run without having a word with Bucky. So I didn't really understand that, but it is what it is. So now I'm wondering, does Cap have any kids? Like, is there a Captain America Peggy Carter bloodline going out right now? Because sign me up, you know. And I wonder if, like, does his super soldier serum, like, get passed down? There's a whole lot of questions. I also did appreciate that Steve was like, he had the ring or whatever, and Sam's like, oh, you're gonna talk about it, blah, blah, blah. He's like, nah, I'm good. And Sam's like, how was your life? And Steve was like, I finally listened to Tony and decided to have a life. And that was good. There was a lot of stony stuff in this movie, which really got my stony heart amazing. And that was one of them, where it was just like, yeah, like, this whole time, Tony has been, you know, trying to do this whole, like, family, let's go family, like, I want to settle down, we save people so we can go back home, all these things, and Steve has always been like, we gotta keep fighting forever. And then finally he listened to Tony. He listened to Tony and settled down and had a family. Do I wish he settled down and had a family with Tony? Yeah, technically, yeah, I do. But, you know, he took Tony's advice and settled down. I was proud of that. It still is a little weird. I feel like it's not in Captain America's character to just go back in time and mess with the entire timeline. You know? It's so weird. Like, I know why he did it. I would have done the same thing. Like, it's Peggy. Come on, have you seen Peggy? But also, like, I feel like Captain America should know the consequences of messing with time like that. But once again, Marvel explained it weird, so it's fine. But time doesn't work like that, so it's weird that he went back in time because you don't know what that could have meant for the timeline. It's whatever. It was kind of it was a weird scene, but also very heartwarming and very good and very, very stony. There was some Stucky in there. I don't know what Sam and Steve's ship name in, but you know, big old ship right there, ship moment. Yeah, I think it was really cute, and now we gotta talk about my boy Tony. Hi, Nicole in editing. I kind of just wanted to jump in here because I'm editing right now and I didn't really explain my feelings on Sam being Captain America fully. Now I want to say I love the idea of Sam being Captain America. I truly do. I love Falcon and Steve's relationship, especially in Winter Soldier. It's really good and pure. But I would have rather seen Bucky, as I mentioned, because I feel like Bucky has more to prove to people that he's not evil, because all the world knows about Bucky is that he murdered a bunch of people and he's an assassin and he blew up a building. So I feel like Bucky has more to prove, but Sam as Captain America, I'm super excited for, especially with the Bucky and Falcon TV show. I'm really excited to see the shield back and Sam throwing it around and trying to figure out like how to aim that thing, because that takes some skill. But I am very excited. I love Sam. I think Sam's a great character. He's probably one of the funniest characters in all of MCU. Like him, Scott Lang, Tony, like they're all hilarious. So I'm very excited to see Falcon as Cap. But I will be honest with you, I would have rather seen Bucky as Cap and then it's still Cap and Falcon. But I'm very, very excited for Falcon to be Captain America. So yeah, I didn't think I explained that too well in the video, so I wanted to pop in here and kind of mention that. Yeah, so I'm very excited for the Winter Soldier and Falcon show. I wonder if they're going to change it to the Winter Soldier and Captain America show, because I'm very excited for Disney Plus. But yeah. So, my favorite character of the entire MCU, my favorite character in all of media, my favorite character in the entire universe, Tony Stark. Now, first things first. I'm gonna start from the beginning. So we're gonna get through some stuff. So I've cried a little bit. I've cried today, 24 hours later. I cried yesterday while watching the movie. And I'm probably gonna cry for the next year. Whenever I hear certain things and see Tony or, all that stuff. But I first want to talk about when Steve and Tony get to see each other again. It brings up Civil War, and it hurt. It hurt because, as you know, I'm a Stony shipper, and so I understood why Tony yelled at Steve, and I would have yelled at Steve, and honestly, I was so proud of Tony for standing up for himself and really telling Steve how he fucked up. But it still hurt, and Tony has been warning everyone about what's happening for years. Literally since Avengers. He is warned and tried to do things about it, and everyone has said that he's in the wrong and that he just wants to do it for the money, or that he's just a terrorist, or all these things, that he doesn't want to protect people. And then finally, when the big bad comes that he's been warning about, Cap isn't there. And, you know, yeah, Cap couldn't be there probably, but also it is that thing of like, Tony has been trying to do what's best for everyone this whole entire time. He's trying to protect people, and he's been trying to tell everyone, specifically Steve, that something is coming and we need to do something. And Steve blew him off, lied to him, just ripped apart everything that they've built since they've met in Avengers. And it hurt Tony. It hurt him. It hurt him. Like, I got really emotional when Tony ripped off the, like, fake arc reactor, not the fake arc reactor, but the one for the suit, and handed it to Steve, because that really symbolizes how much Steve hurt him. Steve ripped out his heart. Tony thought that Steve was his friend, and Steve betrayed him. And now Tony has the guilt of the half the universe. So, hi, my card got filled and it turned night outside, so I'm using a lamp. Sorry if the lighting is not so good, but you know. So, as I was saying, you know, Steve hurt Tony, blah blah blah. And then it skips 5 years and they got over everything that happened, but it looked like Steve didn't know that Tony had a child, so it seems like they haven't talked for 5 years, which kind of sucks, but it's understandable. But of course, you know, Steve asked Tony for help, and Tony being Tony, and him not being able to see people in need of help, goes and helps them. And then we get that beautiful team up of Ant-Man, Captain America, and Tony, and they all talk about Captain America's ass. And we get that beautiful fight scene of Steve versus Steve. And we get that beautiful callback to the fight scene in Winter Soldier, and he's like, "Hail Hydra." Beautiful. Just beautiful, beautiful. That's America's ass right there. And so my Steve Tony heart took off, because that means Tony knows Steve's ass. Okay? They talk about his ass. Alright, Steve and Tony love each other. Just saying. And then we get to the ending fight. And Tony takes the Infinity Gauntlet. Or at least he takes the gems and his suit makes an Infinity Gauntlet. And he says, "I am Iron Man." And Thanos dies. And then Tony's dying. And Peter runs up to him and is like, "Hey, we won." And it really sucks because Tony now has to lose a father figure. And they just met up. Like, for Peter, it's only been a second. But for Tony, it's been 5 years. And it sucks. And Tony can't even talk. And then Pepper says it's gonna be alright. And the whole time, I didn't believe Tony was dying. I didn't. I was like, no way. And it took all the way until the moment where his arc reactor turned off and his hand fell for me to realize it. And then they have the funeral. And the thing that hurt the most was when Pepper sent out the flowers and it had the arc reactor there, the one from Iron Man 1 where it says, "This proves Tony Stark has a heart." That really hurt. And then they pan out to all the Avengers. And you know, you get that speech from Tony that he recorded for Pepper and Morgan. And then you see Harvey there, which not many people knew that was Harvey, but I knew. Mostly because I heard that he was cast in this movie. So they brought him back in. Because, of course, that was Tony's first adopted child. And the MCU was Harvey from Iron Man 3. So it was really nice to see him. So I really hope him and Peter become the big brothers to Morgan. And then we get little Morgan talking to Happy, and Happy's like, "Oh, you hungry?" And she's like, "Yeah, for cheeseburgers." And it was really funny because when she said that, I was like, I literally go, because I'm like this the whole entire end of the movie. As soon as Tony dies, I'm literally like this. And as soon as she said that, I was like, oh my god, like your dad. Yeah, so I like what the Russos did with Tony and her daughter, his daughter. The Love You 3000. That one gets me. Whew. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get a tattoo of that now. I literally changed it on my Tumblr page to say Love You 3000. Even RDJ posted a photo yesterday and did hashtag Love You 3000, and I bet you nobody that's seen Endgame even realizes what that means. But the daughter says it to him, and then he says it in the little message for them, and that hurt. So I definitely think I'm gonna get a Love You 3000 tattoo, and I love what they did. The Stony reunion. See, I wanted the perfect Stony reunion where they hug and they, you know, kiss, and they're like, "Oh my god, I missed you," like all that. But I think what they did was also really nice to show that, like, Steve fucking hurt Tony. And Steve knew that, and Tony yelled at him, rightfully. So I like that, even though I didn't get my, you know, lovey-dovey one, but I think this was good too. But honestly, I do have to say, I was, of course, devastated with him dying, but I understood that Tony would do that. Tony would totally sacrifice himself to save the world, to save the universe, and to prove everyone wrong that thought he was just a terrorist, that he was just a selfish billionaire playboy. It was an ultimate sacrifice. It was an ultimate fuck you to everyone. It was an ultimate, I'm gonna sacrifice myself to save everyone, because that's just who he is. But it still didn't make too much sense for me. My biggest pet peeve about this whole movie is that I think Cap should have died. Because Cap's whole entire character arc has been from Captain America 1, he was the guy that would sacrifice himself. He was the guy that put the ship down into the ocean knowing he was going to die, and then he came back. And then he realized, like, you know, we don't trade lives, and that the government kind of sucks, and like all these things. And I think it would have been nice to see him go back to his old Steve a little bit. Like, yeah, he's grown. It's been 10 years, right? 20 years since he's been out of the ice. And of course that changes you, but also I think that core part of Steve is still there, and that they haven't used that very well in the MCU, that, you know, he's gonna put down his life when it's needed. And I think it would have been a lot more cinematic, I guess, poetic maybe, for him to die. And I think they could have done the whole, like, Titanic thing where he dies and goes to heaven and meets back up with Peggy and gets their dance. Like, I think that would have been better than Tony dying. And I think Tony should have lived, because this whole time, he's been this, arrogant dude, right? Everybody thinks that he's just an arrogant guy, playboy, whatever. But he's been tied down since, like, Iron Man 2 with Pepper. He's always said that he wants to be better than his father because his father was, an asshole. And that he wants to raise a child better than his father did him. And so he adopts Harvey, and he adopts Peter, and he has a child, and he adopts Nebula. And he even reconciles with his father in this movie. He actually sees his father and, gets to talk it out, right? And so I hate that they killed him. They give him a daughter. They give him a life to go back to. And I understand him sacrificing himself. I get it. He totally would do that. But also, now Morgan is not going to have a father. And isn't going to be able to ask him questions or, learn from him anymore. And she's what? 5 or younger, right? And so she's probably not going to have many memories of him. Which sucks. And I think it's the same thing with Natasha, to where Steve doesn't have anyone to go home to. Like, yes, he has the Avengers. The Avengers are his family, Bucky, Sam, everything. But that's the same thing with Natasha. Her family is the Avengers. Steve, his family is the Avengers. Tony, he has a family to go back to like Clint. He has a wife and he has kids, or a kid, to go back to. Well, he has kids also because he has Nebula, Peter, and Harvey to go back to. So it's like weird. It didn't make sense to kill Tony. But I can't be too... I'm still angry and I'm still pissed off about it. And I wish they would have killed Cap because I think it would have been a lot more poetic. But I understand. I get where they were coming from, right? Still pissing me off. But I'm hurt, but I was worried that Tony was going to get murdered than sacrificing himself. So I could have been if he was murdered, I would have been a lot more hurt than him sacrificing himself. So that's good, I guess. The brighter side, right? But this movie was good. The dynamics, the callbacks, Thor, Dad Bod Thor is my boy. Beer Belly Thor, love him to death. Korg, love Korg. Glad he was there. Valkyrie being the queen. The female Avenger squad. There were some amazing moments in here, but I wish Tony would be there for his daughter. And they could bring RDJ back, right? There could totally been a way where, like in the comics, Tony put his subconscious into it. They totally could do that or something. So, he might not be gone forever, but right now in this moment, he is, and it hurts. And when I walked out of the theater, I had this big urge to get a tattoo. Like, huge urge. Like a craving to get a tattoo. Like an Avengers tattoo or something. Of course, I didn't go through with it. But I really want a tattoo. Especially my arc reactor on my chest. And I was talking with my friends about it. Like, there's going to be kids now that don't know who Iron Man is, right? Like, before Iron Man came out, how many people truly knew who he was, right? Because not many people knew the comics. Some adults may have watched the cartoons or stuff. But on average, Iron Man was not a popular superhero. But now he is. He has merchandise. Everyone knows who Iron Man is. Everyone knows who Robert Downey Jr. is. And with Tony dying, there's going to be 10, 20 years from now, imagine, there's people that are kids that are growing up that don't know who he is, and it's just like it's amazing to me. It's gonna be amazing, right? Like that moment, like I have my arc reactor tattoo, and someone sees it and is like, oh, what's that for? Or like, who is that? Or what is that symbol about? And I'm just gonna be like, wow. But it's the way life goes. I didn't expect Tony Stark to live for forever. I don't expect RDJ to live for forever. But a girl can dream that they live forever. I was also hoping they'd bring back Pietro. But they didn't. Which sucks. They should have brought back Pietro. Would have been a perfect, like... They should have gone to... There was no point to go to Age of Ultron, but they should have. And Scarlet should have seen her brother. Whatever, it's fine. Also, Scarlet Witch kicking Thanos' butt was everything. You took everything from me. I don't even know who you are. You will. Great. And she's getting her own show, so I'm really excited about that. And Loki's getting his own show. And he teleported away with the Tesseract, so I don't know where he is in 2012. What's up with that? I don't know. I'd love to see a Captain America traveling through time show on Disney streaming service, right? And he has Mjolnir and the shield. I would love to see Young Avengers, because we got a low-key Kate Bishop. Clint literally said, good job, Hawkeye. We got Harvey from Iron Man 3. He could be Iron Lad. We got Scott Lang, Cassie Lang. Like, she's older now. She could be Stature. So that'd be cool. I'd love to see Morgan and Pepper and you know, I really hope they do the AI thing, so at least Morgan could have Jarvis, you know, still have her dad around. But I think that's gonna be it for this video. This video is kind of everywhere. I also literally did not do my hair. I don't know if you could tell, but like this is right out of the shower. Didn't even touch it. Just, this is it. So that's why it looks all messy, because I knew I had to film this video, and I just was like, I'm too dead today to do anything. You know? Tony died. What am I supposed to do? So, I'm probably gonna go stuff my face with ice cream and eat my emotions till I die. So, yeah. Comment down below if you've seen Endgame so far. What do you think about Tony? What do you think about Steve? Do you ship Stoney? What do you think about Natasha? You said Natasha. Like, everything and anything about Endgame, just message me. You can message me on Insta. You can message me on Tumblr. Like, let's just talk about it. And yeah. I hope you did enjoy. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button with your repulsor blast to become part of the AU. And hit that like button with your hidden blade. And don't forget to push that bell notification. I still gotta figure out what I want to say for that. Comment down below, like, what other things I should say for that. What can you say? Ooh, like, don't forget to hit the push notification with the force. That sounds a little too much, right? What other things do I like? I don't know. Anyways. And I love you, Tony Stark, so much. With all of my heart. You will always be my favorite character in everything. In anything and everything. You will always be my favorite character. And the character that most represents me. In personality and mentality and everything. And I love you. I love you, 3000, Tony Stark. I love you, 3000.